What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to a revamp of the WaveMakers community. Me and Nick have individually been dealing with, different seasons of life, and I think that we got off our path a little bit, and that's okay, right? For me, my God, He loves to pull me away from my purpose, just to bring me that much closer when I return, right? It's been an unbelievable journey so far. So we're super excited to get these things going again. I think we're going to work around 2 calls a week, one about mindset and one about finance and business and success principles. And, whoever decides to tune in, we'd love to have you keep coming back and share it with your friends. We really just want to cast open this huge net of love of like, this is a time period where we all need to come together. We need to come closer together. We need to share ideas, and we need to keep the growth happening, right? Like we were talking about at the beginning of this call. Right now is such an interesting time where some people are going to go right back into super bad habits, right? Why? Because we have nothing to do. There's all this free time. What do I do with all this white space? And we're going to try to combat that, right, with an organized community of hustlers and people who want to grow and not waste this time, but maximize this time to learn that language you've been putting off, or to start that home-based business that you've been putting off, or to dial in your own home-based business, or to dial in your spirituality, dial in your soul, figure out what makes you happy. And when we started this community, Nick, like 3 years ago? When did we start? Like 3 years ago. The premise was month 1 is love yourself, right? And before we build anything, it reminds me of the movie Coach Carter. He comes in and he's got such talent, but raw, and they're undisciplined basketball players. And the first thing he does is, we're running. Because if you can't run up and down this court for 60 minutes, it doesn't make sense for me to teach you everything else. Right. And for me, that analogy is so important in regards to life. If we can't get you to a place of self-love, then you don't have the longevity to create those building blocks. You have not created the foundation on self-love to be able to effectively dive into everything else, which is so trivial. I look around, and the people who are the happiest and most secure in themselves, in their own skin, in their own direction, in their own path, those are by far the most successful people that I know. Not financially, not wealth, not materials, not relationships, not anything other than how dialed in they are with themselves. And it's a beautiful thing to watch. So I'm going to rock for about 15, 20 minutes. If you got notes, it helps. If not, just lend me your ears. And I would love to preach to you guys for a little bit about some of the things that I've learned along the way. Something that came into my line of view today, right, is happiness is a phase. It was a lyric in a song I was listening to while I was out here doing this landscaping, a band called Soja. And the guy goes, happiness is a phase, right? And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, man, that is so true. But I don't like the word phase. I like the word season, right? Happiness is a season. And as fast as it comes, it goes. And for me, like, I could sit here and have the war with myself about having to trap happiness. Or I can trust God and just let Him flow those seasons of happiness and those seasons of joy in and out of my existence, because it's really the storms where I'm learning the most. So those are just as vital as the moments and the glimpses of pure bliss and pure sublimity and happiness. And it's something to pay attention to, right? And then I started building blocks, and I knew this call was coming, and I was like, all right, well, Mike, what are we going to talk about? And so I grabbed this quote and I started building on top of it, right? Okay, how do I maximize those seasons, right? And I had to create concepts in my head about, well, what aligns with each season, right? For me personally, let me go on some analogies. For me personally, when it's winter time, my soul is its happiest when I'm on the mountain snowboarding, right? That is when I'm in alignment with my existence, is when it's winter time, I'm snowboarding. And when it's summertime, I'm at the lake and I'm wakeboarding and I'm tubing and I'm jet skiing, right? You got 2 different seasons and all different types of activities. So here's my question to you, and here's the question that you should be asking to yourself. What activities put you in alignment with yourself when it's happiness season? When you're crushing it, when your confidence is at an all-time high, and when life is going your way, when you're playing blackjack and you literally cannot lose. You're hitting on 17, bang, 21, bang, 21. You can't lose. Everything's going in your favor. What are you doing during that season? Right? And even more important, almost, it's so hard to say which one is more important. They're equally as important. What activities go on when that storm is hitting? What are you doing with yourself when your confidence is not there, when your faith is not there, when your work ethic is not there? What does that look like for you? And these are just some questions to ask yourself, because what I find in myself is when I'm not in alignment in the season, when I'm not recognizing what season it is in my life, when I'm not take surfing, when I'm not reading the tide right, I'm not catching waves, and things are ugly and I'm out there floating, right? Somebody throw me a lifeline. Give me a break. Can I catch a wave? Can you send me something to get me out of this stagnant place, right? But there are things that you could be doing ahead of time to make sure that you're prepped to be in that space, right? Let's go to the darkness. In my depression, I have to get outside. I have to keep my bedroom door open, because if that bedroom door shuts, then that bed becomes my safe space and there is no growth happening in that safe space, right? If life is better when you lay down, then just stay down. That's what John C. Maxwell said. If life is better when you lay down, then you just stay down there. Don't even bother getting up, right? And so for me, in that winter, in that storm, I got to stay outside, or like I will go to a very, very unhealthy place. I need to stay active. I need to stay in touch with my best friends. It's in those seasons where I don't pick up Nick's phone calls, and he knows, right? He knows when I'm not picking up phone calls, odds are like devil's playing with my head. So what are you doing? Conversely, when you're up and you're at it, like, where's your list? What does your board say? What does your whiteboard say? What does your day look like? Or are you just Netflixing all day? Like, in this season of unbelievable energy and unbelievable mindset and focus and excitement and confidence, like, you're wasting that season because you're not organized. You haven't set yourself up for success in that season, right? You're still praying for snow and it's 75 and sunny, right? So focus on those things, right? When we talk about that concept of alignment, it's very simple, right? Some people struggle with like this, and yeah, with age and maturity, but it's also just that turn of the wrench in your own head. Alignment, what feels right? What feels right? What feeds your soul? Odds are the 18 people that are on this call, you got a pretty decent moral compass. You know what's right and what's wrong, right? You know, sometimes you're like, I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be drinking this drink that I'm about to drink, but I'm going to drink it anyway. That conscious that's in your head of knowing right and wrong is the same conscious that's going to tell you what's in alignment with my existence and what is not in alignment with my existence. That dude that I just met is so far from being in alignment with who I am as a person, I'm going to keep my distance. He's not in alignment with my existence and the things that I'm trying to build in my life. That relationship, that person, that experience, that place. I'm no longer going back to that place because that place is a breeding ground for my terrible habits. It's not in alignment with who I want to be and who I am. So I got to distance myself. But it starts with gauging what's for me and what's not for me. And listen to yourself, right? In the gym, like, yo, that weight is not for you. Put it down. It's too heavy. Get to something that is much more in alignment with where you're at with your physical capacity. Same concepts. Take everything that we're learning from the physical world and apply it to the spiritual mental space. The cues are there, right? So identifying what's in alignment is as simple as, well, what feels right to my soul? Not, and that's where I'm going to lose some of you. Not what feels right for my body, but what feels right for my soul. And that's where you're going to find alignment, right? Once you start grabbing a hold of some of those things that are in alignment and you start compartmentalizing them for each season, this is where I place this activity when I'm feeling blue, right? That concept of the second a negative thought comes in, replace it with 3 positive thoughts. Start redirecting your brain to be different, to act different, to exist differently, right? Once you grab a hold and compartmentalize and you have an idea of what you should be doing in each season of your existence, understand that time is running out. That clock, it is the only thing in my world that never stops moving, is the clock. It just keeps on going, right? And so that's where I back it up with, all right, I found the things that are in alignment with my soul. Time is running out. I'm going to sprint at those things. I'm going to absolutely relentlessly sprint at those things. I'm going to wake up with focus and I'm going to give it my best. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're not seeing things through, if you're leaving projects unfinished, if you're not calling people back because you get distracted, like, it is all the same part of the brain. You're coming up short with your friendships, and odds are you're coming up short with your business as well, because that's the way that you do things right now. Your living space is filthy. Odds are your brain is filthy with just trash everywhere. Just trash thoughts, negativity, garbage, clutter. You're thinking about all the wrong things. It's time to clean house. And what better time than a quarantine for you to clean house physically, mentally, and spiritually? This is our detox. Welcome to the show, right? So flush it, get it out. You have unbelievable amounts of one-on-one time with yourself to just flush it and get it out, right? And here's the most important thing that I can say to you right now. Happiness is a phase, right? It's a season. We got to compartmentalize what activity that's in alignment with my soul I need to be doing in each season. How do I discern what's in alignment for my soul? What feels right to my soul? I'm going to continue doing those things. Time is limited. It's running out. Once I find out what I want to do for my soul, I need to sprint at those things. The most important thing that I can tell you right now is to practice rushed patience. Grab that concept and place it in your soul. Rushed patience. I am in such a rush every single day to grow and to elevate and to push and to fight and to get better and to accomplish my goals and to knock stuff off of my list. But life, human existence requires you to be so patient with the process. Because guess what? It doesn't happen overnight. The average entrepreneur takes 9 years to even show glimpses of that long-term success. Your home-based business or your career or your business, it takes time to climb that ladder. And if you're going to quit every single time it gets tough because you think it was supposed to happen earlier than it did, then you got the wrong headspace. You're in a rushed mindset. You're bodying that entitled mindset that they preach so often of, I want a golden egg now, daddy, right? But it doesn't work like that. So if you're going to take anything from the words that I've spit out of my mouth to you today, grab a hold of that one. Rushed patience, right? And what it allows me to do is it allows me to walk the tightrope of every single day. I am fired up and I am moving and I am hungry and I am fighting for a better life. And I'm very hard on myself, right? And I'm disciplined to the best of my abilities in this moment. And I'm battling with the good days and the bad days, the sunny days and the stormy days. Like, it is a lifelong struggle of in and out, weaving in and out. But if I can maintain that concept of, all right, I'm in a rush to get to where I'm going, but I know and I understand that this shit's going to take time, and I put it in God's hands. And when he's ready for me to have it, he'll have it. But if I'm not showing up to practice, coach doesn't have a chance to play me in the game. If I'm not showing up on a daily basis and making myself readily available for God to work through me, guess what? He cannot work through me. If I'm not showing up for my business, if I'm not showing up for my friendships, if I'm not showing up for my relationship, if I'm not showing up for my existence, then guess what? I'm not in a position to be utilized to elevate and to get things moving in the right direction. So show up daily, but be patient with the process, right? That's all I got for you guys today. I hope you gained some value. Drop some 1s and 2s and 3s in the chat box if you gained any form of value from what I just said. And next up, man, I'm going to bring in my best friend in the entire world. The kid has had my back more than a lot of people. And he's just a great person to be around. One of those kids, I would say that 95% of the people on this call are on this call because of Nick, and just the friendship that he brings to the table, right? When he first came to me and said, Mike, I want to do business, it was an interesting conversation because he didn't say, I want to do business like we're going to build an empire. He said, I want to do business, and whatever it turns into, it'll turn into that. But what I can offer you is a lifelong friendship, and I will never give up on you, and I'll be with you till the very end. And it's rang true, right? In my winter seasons, he has absolutely stood by me as a friend and as a business partner. And it's a pleasure to continue to learn from him every single day. So Nikki T, why don't you come on and drop some bars for these people? I know that we're all eager to hear what flies out of you and the unbelievable amount of growth that you've been through over the past couple of years.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. I want to give props to you as well, man, because you've been just as good of a friend to me through my ups and downs. So I want to send you love, man. And I'm proud of you as well, bro. I'm really grateful for our friendship. And I also want to say, man, I was listening and observing to everything that you were saying. And I really appreciate the vulnerability, because I think it takes a lot of guts to share openly to, random people or friends or acquaintances or new friends, some of our personal struggles, which we all have, right? So I think that's one thing, man, that one of the biggest things that I've been able to learn from you is being open to being vulnerable and the healing that comes from that, man. So I love it, bro. And one of the couple of things that really stood out for me before I go in and share a couple of things on my mind, what season am I in, right? And how can I adapt to that season and make the best of that season? I think observing and realizing where we are in life is so important so that we can make the best of that season, right? There, Jim Rohn he speaks often about the summer, and that's the season for the planting and the harvesting and all the different seasons, and how each of them are very important, because if winter doesn't come, summer cannot do what it has to do. And it's interesting as a whole, as we're going through right now globally through this coronavirus thing, how, a lot of times we're not looking for the gift in each situation, right? And I would love to, before I peel the layers, I just want to let everyone know, some of you guys that have been friends with us and been in some of our calls that we used to have often, with WaveMakers, we are a community of people dedicated to positive change for ourselves, for the environment, for the world. We're here to make the world a better place. We want to grow. And I can confidently say that that's one thing that every single one of us, 19 live on this call, have in common. We want to grow, because you could be doing anything right now, but you chose to hop on, right? Even if you didn't have anything to do at the house, you could have stayed not doing anything, but you chose to grow. And I just want to congratulate you guys for that. And we hope that we can serve you and bring you some value, bring in some ideas and concepts that maybe you can grab on and think after this call and really reevaluate your life and improve the areas that can be improved on, right? Because we can all get better. And here's one thing that I've learned in my life in 26 years young of my life. We can learn from every single person in the world, from the wealthiest man in the world and from the homeless person, right? We can learn from everyone. So my question to you is this: why are you here? Why are you here? Why did you come here, right? Did you come here because you were just bored? If so, that's okay, right? I don't want to put you on the spot. That's all good. Congratulations for showing up, right? I'm sure that you're going to pick up a couple of things at least, but you know, are you here because you want to grow? Are you here because you want to network? These are all great things. But we need to know what we want and why are we here, because we get what we expect. So if you're expecting to see something good out of this call, you will find it. If you're expecting to see, you know, something bad, you will find it as well, because there's both in every situation, right? So I encourage everyone for the remaining 15, 20, 25 minutes that we'll be here to just find the lesson that you need from this call. Maybe you already got it from Mike. He dropped incredible nuggets on this call already, right? But hopefully you can do that by the end of this call, okay? I have some notes, so excuse me as I'm looking down, but I just want to make sure that I'm on topic, okay? So what I would love to speak on tonight is peeling the layers a little bit, right? Let's talk about our self-identity, because we see the world. Actually, let me read this quote to you guys, okay? By Stephen Covey, right? He's the guy that wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Pay attention to this. This is extremely powerful. Check this out. Each of us tends to think we see things as they are, that we are objective, but that is not the case. We see the world not as it is, but as we are, or as we are conditioned to see it. When we open our mouths to describe what we see, we in effect describe ourselves, our perceptions, our paradigms. Man, this is deep. This is so powerful. I would love to read it one more time. Check this out. Each of us tends to think we see things as they are, that we are objective, but that is not the case. We see the world not as it is, but as we are, or as we're conditioned to see it. When we open our mouths, we describe what we see. When we open our mouths to describe what we see, we in effect describe ourselves, our perceptions, our paradigms. So, you know, if we really observe this, it's really about how we see ourselves, right? So we can ask someone, you know, how are you feeling today? And they're going to tell you how rainy it is, and how, because right now it is rainy outside, right? And how cloudy and just nasty outside, and how this coronavirus, and the economy and the government and the world and my job and my business and my girlfriend, my wife, my husband, you know, and it's the lenses that they are seeing the world, but it's really how they're seeing themselves. So my goal by the end of my little couple of notes that I have here, I would love to ask you guys a few questions in order to hopefully trigger you to begin asking yourself better questions. Because if we have better questions, we will have better lives, okay? If we ask ourselves better questions, we will have better lives. Our self-identity determines our self-worth, which in turn determines the life we live. So it is truly about how we see ourselves, that we will, you know, that will be our experience in the world. So here are a couple of questions, right? If you have pen and paper, I really encourage you to write this down. These questions, these are questions that take some time to think about, okay? If you're able to write it down on your phone, on your piece of paper, that would be fantastic. And if you don't do it, that's okay, but this is really for you guys, okay? Here's question number 1. And this is gonna, by the way, this will let you know what your self-worth is, and it will encourage you to maybe ask yourself better questions in order to see yourself from a lighter perspective, right? So you can have more grace for yourself and create a better life, okay? And this is for all of us, including myself. So first one, am I worthy of happiness? Am I worthy of happiness? Am I worthy of success? Are you right now where you're at in your life? Are you worthy of success? Do you believe that you're worthy of success? Or are you looking at your past experiences and your past failures in your upbringing and you're determining that that is your reality, and so you are really not worthy of success? Because if that's the case, that's a lie that you are going to have to deal with within yourself, or else you will never achieve success. Are you worthy of success? Number 3, do I truly believe that things are happening for me or and not against me? Do I truly believe that things are happening for me and not against me? Wow. What are the gifts in my world right now that I could appreciate if I was paying attention? What are the gifts in my life right now that I could appreciate if I was paying attention? Man, all of us are so blessed to be here right now. If we begin to see our lives as a miracle, because that's what it is, everything will change, right? What are the gifts in my life right now that I could appreciate if I was paying attention? Next one. What was the last time, and I'm asking in first person or point of view. What was the last time I told myself I love you? When was the last time that you told yourself that you love yourself? And no, I'm not saying this from a perspective of you are the center of the world and you are God, and so you need to love yourself and that's ego. No, 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 no. If you can't love yourself, how can you love others? It's impossible. So when was the last time that you went in front of the mirror and reminded yourself that you love yourself? Very powerful exercise, by the way. When was the last time that you've hugged yourself? Maybe you can do that one right after too. Okay, last 3. Can I make decisions by myself? Can I make decisions by myself? Or do I always need other people to assure me that I'm doing the right thing? I've been guilty of that. It's all good. How often do I apologize for unnecessary things? How often am I saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, for no reason? That's a self-worth thing. That used to be my habit, by the way. Some of you guys know that. I've been working on that, right? And even if I have to apologize, it doesn't mean that we can't apologize. We can apologize, but be aware of the word sorry. That word sorry is a sorry word. Don't use that word. Use apologize if you want to apologize for something, right? It's a self-worth thing. This goes deep and we don't even notice. Okay, last 2. Last one. What questions do I need to ask myself to paint a beautiful picture today and every day? This is a question that a mentor of mine asked me. What questions do I need to ask myself to paint a beautiful picture today and every day? What questions do I need to ask myself to paint a beautiful picture today and every day? That is so strong. Better questions, better life. And there's also another quote that says, we must choose the words we say to ourselves wisely because they are creating our reality. Right? We are creating with our mouths. So with these questions, I encourage everyone to actually take some time and, everyone's got a lot of time in their hands now, so there's no excuses really, but I encourage everyone to take some time and ponder on these things and write some things down and go inward and get to know yourself better. What a great time during this quarantine or whatever is going on to really get to know ourselves. What are the things that we need to work on within us? They're hidden. Let's peel the layers. Let's go deeper. Because then we can truly heal and portray more love to the other people, And I encourage everyone to, throughout this week, to begin or continue or strengthen that muscle of seeing yourself with the eyes of love, becoming your best friend. Become your own best friend because you're living with yourself for the rest of your life. So become your new best friend. And I'm going to end it with this. Do you recognize your life as a miracle? These some There's some deep questions. Some people are like, man, I didn't know I was signing up for this. Thought I was just getting some motivational words. We like to go deep. We want to grow. That's the goal, right? But that's a great question. Do you recognize your life as a miracle? Because you are a miracle. We are all children of God. And the moment that we begin realizing that, our whole life can change. So I'm excited, and I'm grateful and honored that you guys got to spend some time with us, and that I've been able to hopefully bring some value to you guys, and Mike as well. I'm going to take some time. I actually wrote these questions before this call, and I'm going to actually take some time and write the answers for myself. But I just thought they were really powerful. So that's what I got. I don't know if anyone have any questions. Does anyone have any questions or anything that's on your mind? We'll love to hear you guys. By the way, like these calls, we're going to be having them every Monday, mindset calls, every Friday, business calls. We're going to have successful people from different industries and fields that we're going to be interviewing. And these calls are not just meant to be from our ends where we're lecturing or preaching or whatever, and you guys are just listening, taking notes, and okay, goodbye. Like, we want to build a community and strengthen the community that we already have. And if you like to grow and you want to create positive change for yourselves and for others, then you are more than welcome to be a part of this movement. And feel free to speak up, anytime that you have something in your heart. So I just want to encourage and let everyone know about that as well.
Yeah. So we got a saying that I'm going to bring back. It's called Mike's down, right? And when the speaker has got it all out, he says, Mike's down. And when you're ready, you unmute your mic and you say, hey, I'm going to grab the mic, and you're on, right? And that's our community, and those are our vibes. That's how it's been for the past 3 years. So mic's down, and whoever wants to grab it, go on and grab it.
If anyone would like to say anything, maybe something that stood out for you from the call, one big question I got you thinking, or, a realization that you had that you're going to be able to take home.
To me, it's just the process of asking yourself those important questions that are actually pretty hard and none of us actually, think of or anything. I've been doing, I just had a son. He's like 8 months old now, and it's made me really like stare at myself in the mirror and be like, yo, like you're fucking up. Like you're not doing what you need to be doing. Like you need to, man up. And, I'm reading a lot of books into that. Like, there's one book, it's like Hard Times Create Strong Men, because I was going through a hard time, like mentally, for a long time, not even just like having a kid or anything, but that just put things into perspective, where it's like when you ask these hard questions and you have people that are around you that are asking those same questions, it's a lot easier to like answer them, you know what I mean? And not like in a way where you're delusional or anything, but like, yeah, no, it's like that kind of stuff right there has been very helpful. And there's this one book I definitely recommend. It's like Claim Your Power by this guy, like Mantis Kin, I believe. And it deals with like trauma. Like I had a lot of like self-hate stuff going on, growing up and like in my adult life, to where I was just doing destructive type lifestyle choices. And, but that it's kind of like, just a way for you to actually like change your mindset by asking those hard questions, but being real with yourself, like not just looking yourself in the mirror and being like, no, I'm good. Like, that happened because this person hurt my feelings, or like that happened because this person, it's like, no, that person had problems and you listen to them and let their words get into your head and then cause all this trauma that's like mentally blocking you. So it's like, asking yourself these questions is very important. And I'm actually pretty glad that, y'all touched on that, because it's important, and that's what I'm learning now. So it's like, that just kind of like, yeah, it went well, like as far as like alignment, like what Mike was talking about, like that, the alignment of that and what I'm going through currently. And like with my son, it's like, you just gotta step up, be a man or be a woman, and like handle your business and, move forward and ask yourself the hard questions, because nobody else is going to ask them for you, like, so just, it sucks, but it's good for you in the end. It's all for the better.
Amen, bro.
Yeah.
Amen. That is beautiful, bro. And props to you for like taking ownership of that, you know, and like facing yourself and, you know, like, hey, like I've been messing up. I can improve. What can I do to improve? Like that is a hard thing to do, man, but it's worth it in the end. So
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, for me, it's not all about me now. You know, it's about other people. It's something more important than myself. And that kind of takes you out of that selfish mindset to where it's like you can still be selfish, but you're like, it's for a better cause. It's for a bigger, more important cause, you know?
What a great
We can't help others until we help ourselves.
100%.
Amen.
That's awesome, bro. That's beautiful.
Go Haley with the camera turned off, just throwing bombs in there.
Sorry, I'm cooking. I mean, I guess I can turn it on.
Coach Gabe, what you thinking over there, big dog?
Mic check. 1 2 1 2. No, this is great, man. I'm proud of you guys for putting this together, and I'm grateful that I was able to be on here. Something that stood out to me was how you do one thing is how you do everything. And my challenge for myself is, am I making my bed during this quarantine? Like, if I can't wake up, and I know you guys have heard the speech and whatnot, but it's so deep. I make my bed every morning, and if I can't make my bed, how can I run a business? How can I lead others? How can I have a wife? How can I have kids? So that stood out to me. How you do one thing is how you do everything, because it's very accurate. Our words mean everything. And if you change your words, you change your life. Joyce Meyer said that. And it's amazing, because whatever, even good morning, like good is average. And I would always say that grand risings, like great awakening. Like, I try not to use good morning, because it's like, what are we mourning? We just woke up. So that stood out to me. Become your own best friend. If you're single, you have to learn how to date yourself. You know, like for me, I go to the restaurant, I sit down by myself, and I ask myself these questions, and do I truly really love myself is huge. One of the questions that I'm going to dive deeper into tomorrow morning when I wake up is, am I worthy of success? When I was at the Tony Robbins, just a little background, I had a big business with my dad, and it crumbled in 2014. And I got to a point where I thought that I couldn't be successful if I didn't work alongside my father. And breaking that limiting belief is something that's been a stronghold that I've been working on, because if I'm a son of God, and God has gifted me with health and with certain talents, then I don't need anyone to get or do the things that you want to do to make an impact on the world in the short time that we're here. So that was a good one. What are the gifts in my life right now that I could appreciate? There's so many, you know, just being able to be on this call is a gift. And then the last one, what questions do I need to ask myself? That was huge. And the last, I'll close with this, is who you surround yourself with is who you become. And that is so, so true. They invited me to go to a boxing workout today, and it was like a couple guys that had gotten out of jail. And I was just like, what am I going to, like, I'm not judging them, but like, what value are they going to bring me, and what am I going to bring them? And if there's not some, like, if we don't meet halfway and we can't better each other, then I honestly, like, I'd just rather be alone in my place. And that's something that is very important to be aware of. Who you're putting yourself around and what environment are you in is really gonna lead you either astray or lead you where you're supposed to be going. So
Tell him, Gabe.
Remember,
Scorpio.
the joy is in the journey. Mic down.
Love it.
Coach Gabe coming in with the fire. Good to see your guys' faces. I came on a little late, missing those questions, was having a beautiful dinner with my family. So if someone could send me a picture of those questions, that would be wonderful. It's always good to get other questions from other people's minds that they've been asking, rather than the same cycle of questions that you're asking yourself. So that's why it's something so special about having a community that is able to circulate ideas and mastermind different things. Something for me in this time was, anytime, if we think of any time that we've ever said, I don't have time for fill in the blank, is now we have the most time on our hands we've ever had in our life. It's kind of like God gave us this pause on life, that whatever it is that we wanted to do, and it's really exposing what you're going to do with all of this free time on your hands. How well is your time management? How well is your schedule? How well are you doing these different things? And so I know for the time that we've spent on this, I haven't been as productive or focused on things as I would like to be. But however, we all have some sort of gift and some sort of thing that we can bring to the world. And so I know Nick and I have talked about 3 things that make us uncomfortable or doing something, and doing those in this time where we really have time to focus. For me, I've always wanted to facilitate a group or do some sort of thing, and I've always also wanted to read more books. So I combined the two, and I created a book club that speaks every day, where we read different chapters and different stuff. So that actually started today. So that's pushing me outside my comfort zone in different things. And so really utilizing this time. I teach a yoga class every morning at 11 a.m. Central Time, if you guys would like to join that. And so just being really creative with this time, it's really brought me back to the basics of different things and how simple life can be, as well as those foundational things of life that we can always want to build. So for me, why I chose to do the book club was money mindset was always something I needed to work on. I prided myself on having a good money mindset, owning a business, doing different stuff, traveling, doing so forth. And but however, really I dove back into Rich Dad Poor Dad, which was reshifted all these different things, and being back with my parents right now during this time, really exposing some different ideologies and conditioning of my thoughts on money that I didn't think were a problem, but have actually been hindering me, or like the fear of misplaced income, or the fear of needing a raise from a job, or whatever it may be, or the fear of saving or something may be, is really exposing these different things. And it's all right now for me, what I see as an opportunity for us to build our empire's foundation of what is meaningful to us, because 5, 10, 15 years down the road, we're going to be able to take that on. And there's a reason why that showed up in your life, whatever idea that is for you, whether it's that side business or taking care of your children or something, whatever it may be. And then something to end it with is get creative. Lewis Howes just posted something saying out of the last recession that we had between 2008 and 2010, 10 of the largest tech or cool companies like Uber and Lyft and Venmo and all these different companies were created. And so it's going to be down to who can create the coolest thing, because we're all at home with times on our hands. So just keep the imagination flowing. And my favorite white boy in the universe, I love you, brother. And so that's what I got. Get creative and enjoy the time with your family.
Love it, my man. Dude, I do want to recommend what you just said, because we did have a great call the other day, and thinking of the 3 things that 3 challenges that we can come up for ourselves, maybe 3 things that you've been meaning to do, but you haven't done it, right? That because of that fear of starting or whatever it is. That's a great exercise that have been really awesome for me, man. So thank you for bringing that to my awareness the other day.
Yeah. And it's one, like a outline for it is 1 to keep you creative, 1 to make you money, and 1 to keep you active. So if it's a movement of some sort, for me, movement was, I have a yoga practice. I would love to learn how to do a handstand. So that's something I'm learning how to do. Something to make me money is putting together my CRM and different organization things for my business. And then something that keeps me creative is I love to cook. And so being able to play around with different things is something that I'm doing. And obviously, Nick, I've showed Nick a few different ones as well that I'm working on. So whatever that looks like to you. Mike, Down.
Y'all should just start saying mic drop because everything y'all are talking about is fire.
Love it. What you got? You got something in your heart, baby girl?
Just that Eric needs to come visit so we can cook for us again.
What was your biggest takeaway from this call?
I think the questions are so important. And kind of what you said about taking this time, like taking advantage of it, not just wasting it, really getting to know yourself, because in normal life, people just go, 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 and they don't really take the time to grow. The average person. I know we're not average, but, you know, sometimes it can slip, and this is kind of what launches us forward. So it's very important, investing the time, not time wasted.
Amen. Love it. Yeah, we're growing at the house.
Mic drop.
Anyone else like to share anything in their hearts? Fantastic. Well, guys, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Congratulations. We're grateful that we get to spend a little bit of time with you and revamp, like Mike said, the WaveMakers community every Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern, mindset call. Every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, business call. We'd love to see you there. Have a wonderful week. God bless you guys. Much love. Peace.